All right, guys, joining me at this time is yet another Chicago 10th Planet. The young lady competing in this weekend's combat sports coverage, Katie Bochenek. How you doing today, Katie?
Doing well, doing well. Just
I just
another day of
completely butchered
training.
your last name again. I'm sorry.
No worries.
We practiced it like whole 2 minutes before it. I still messed it up. Anyways, you are out of 10th Planet in Chicago. How is it that you got all the way down with combat sports coverage in Houston?
So I'm actually at a 10th Planet Lombard. 10th Planet Chicago is a different school.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah. We're just about 30 minutes from Chicago, so totally understand there. But yeah, I found out about combat sports coverage through one of my teammates, Manny Vasquez, pro MMA guy. He fought through Bellator. Mm-hmm. He was actually supposed to be on the card, but for some reasons he had to pull out. So he was encouraging a bunch of us to fill out for super fights, and he sent it my way and said, you should fill out for this card. And I did, and they contacted me a couple days later, and I had no idea he was even on it. He was just telling a bunch of us about these super fights. And I see, after they contact me and we set something up, mm-hmm. I see the poster come out and he's like the main fight. I'm like, what's going on? Why didn't you tell me you're on this? This is so cool. But yeah, so heard about it through him, and I've been stoked ever since. I mean, this will be my first super fight, so.
That was my next question. Have you ever done a super fight? So this is your first one ever. How is it? Have you got any jitters right now? Or are you trying to figure out how you're going to go in this game plan wise? Because you're only a couple days away now from your very first ever super fight.
Yeah. So honestly, my nerves aren't bad at all. I think throughout the years of different sports and competing, I've kind of worked out a lot of the nerves. I was actually supposed to have my first super fight April 10th on the Emerald City card. Unfortunately, 4 days before, my opponent pulled out due to an injury and was not able to take that one. So
it's like that in combat sports.
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand. I've been ready for a while. Honestly, I've been ready, especially working my games, working on advancing my games. So yeah, I don't really have any jitters, and I have a game plan, but I mean, I take whatever they give me, I'm not dead set on one thing.
Now this is at 135 pounds. How has it been for you? Have you cut weight before?
Oh yeah, I've cut weight.
So you're used to this. Now, what's your background? Are you naturally just jiu-jitsu? Have you done any wrestling before?
So I went into combat sports and jiu-jitsu specifically with no background whatsoever. It was something my ex-boyfriend talked me into. He used to train, and he was just like, you should do it. You should pursue this. You might be good at it, because I had a background in powerlifting. I did powerlifting for 6 years.
Okay.
I've competed on very high stages. I've competed at nationals, worlds, you name it, I've been there. Unfortunately, the Arnold was never on this, but oh yeah, used to pre-workout fueled jitters at that.
Yeah.
But
so what kind of you said your boyfriend brought you into jiu-jitsu. What brought you into Lombard at 10th Planet, and then what brought you into wanting to do super fights?
So funny enough, my ex-boyfriend used to train at a 10th Planet Lombard, and him and I split. It was good. We were friends for a long time, and we stayed really good friends after we broke up, and he stopped training after he got his blue belt, the blue belt blues, he was out, but
be like that.
Yeah, he kept pushing me to try it out. I did, and it was kind of funny because I messaged my coach Omar Ocasio and said hey, can I come out for a trial class? And I was like, I know Mike, and he's like, oh, absolutely. I show up, and he's talking to me about class and stuff, and he's like, yeah, so where's Mike? What? I thought he was coming. I was like, no, it's just me. And he always gave me crap because he's most girls don't show up to try out a class by themselves. So yeah. I think from then on he knew I was sticking around. So yeah, I've been here ever since, and starting to apply for super fights. It was just I kept winning local tournaments by landslides. I was nailing all submissions, and I even dropped a weight class. I'm normally a 150. I dropped to 135, just to see how it went. And I ended up getting all really good submissions pretty quickly. So it's just what's next? You're always asking when you're competitive, you're always asking what's next, where you can go. And that was it. That was my what's next.
So for you now going into combat sports coverage, this is your very first at 135. Do you feel better competing at 135? You said obviously before you did 155. Is 135 more your home though?
I'd say so, especially for super fights and especially for day before weigh-ins. I look lean and dense at 135, but 150 I'm kind of scary at, but I'm also slow. So it just, I think this is going to be more my home, especially when it comes to one match tournaments. So
Yeah.
I know I did IBJJF 2 weekends ago, I think now.
In
I did
Houston?
136, so I did lightweight. And day of weigh-ins with little refueling's a little rough, but I'm going to try that same weight out again at Pans and see where I can get with that.
Now, what's more of your game? I know you said you're a powerlifter. Are you more like a top, really pressure heavy person, or are you more of a guard player?
So that's actually kind of a funny question. Everybody expects 10th Planet to be what? Funky, leg locks, stuff like that. They expect you to sit on your butt and play legs. I go back and forth. Honestly, like I don't like to make the first move when it comes to a match. Like I'll let my opponent pick and choose their poison.
Kind of figure out where they're going from there, play with theirs.
Yeah, I love to wrestle. I love stand up. But if I'm feeling like their stand up might be a little better than mine, I might sit down. If I feel like my stand up can overpower theirs, I'll absolutely stay on the feet. It just really depends. I mean, I love leg locks.
I think that's the best part about being a very well-rounded jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to play, especially nowadays when a lot of people are very leg lock heavy and they don't really have a top game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like for a while that's kind of where I was at, and we started getting more guys that are amazing wrestlers in the gym. And you train with this like first week white belt and roll with this guy, and you're like, oh man, he doesn't know any jiu-jitsu, but I'm getting my butt kicked. It makes you want to pursue it. So ever since we've gotten Angel Villegas is one of our guys here. He's a great wrestler. He's definitely amped up the whole room's wrestling game. So it's not just one dimensional. I mean, not to say we were before, but it really brought a new level.
That shows how important, especially, this is an individual sport, but you definitely have an entire team behind you, and having the right pieces in place is super important to evolve your overall skills.
Oh, absolutely. Very thankful for my team. We got a lot of diverse grapplers in the room.
Tell me a little bit about Lumbar 10th Planet.
So we actually just moved to a new location. We were a small gym to start. We started about 3 years ago, but pretty small room. Couldn't tell you how big, but we'd have about, when I started out, we had probably like 15 people per class, and now we've got like 40 to 50 per class. It's the growth is insane. So we recently moved from a smaller location where 15 people would fill the mats to a bigger location where we have triple the mat size, and our open mats are huge. Like we're probably one of the biggest open mats in the Midwest right now, Nogi specifically. Yeah, so we've got a great space. We've got kettlebells, a workout area, bags, everything. As far as like training goes, I mean, we have it all. Like we've got our strikers, we've got our MMA guys, we have our grapplers, our wrestlers. We're a very diverse school, which you wouldn't expect from 10th Planet school in general.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is how diverse are you? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause especially too, like a lot of people who don't compete are still very, very good at what they do. You have a lot of people that are just straight grapplers and who are just killers inside the gym, where a lot of people, aren't going to hear about it like you and I are going to be talking about stuff. They're not going to be talking about as much, but there are those very like hidden gems inside gyms.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as our MMA guys go, I mean, even their grappling is fantastic. Like you don't want to stand up with them, but you also don't want to hit the ground with them. Mike DeMicus is one of our pro fighters. He's been killing it lately. He's brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's solid. He is one guy, like if he gets a body lock on you, you want out immediately, but he will not let you out.
Yeah, shoot the head down, try to get out as fast as possible.
Right.
So 10th Planet Lumbar, that's obviously you're going to be your home for the future, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm not moving. They can't get rid of me. They can't get rid of me. I'm here every day. I help with some of our beginners when they show up. I help walk them through warm-ups. I help coach kids class too, which is got a special place in my heart. It can make you pull your hair out, but it can make you warms you up real quick. Those kids are awesome. Right.
How long have you been doing that for?
Oh, only a couple months now. I think I've been Coach Katie now for 4 or 5 months. I think I started in the past 5 months. But these kids are stepping their game up, and we've got some little killers on the mat, that's for sure.
It's definitely fun to watch them evolve, you know what I mean? Especially when like they're scared to get on the mats at first, and then they just start running on the mats.
Yeah. They're nervous to start, but they'll hit the ground running once they get the hang of things.
Now, obviously, this is your first, but this definitely isn't going to be your last. Is there anything in the future already lined up?
So I'm not going to disclose too much because I don't have it for sure set, but
Mhm.
I can say June 5th out on the East Coast. You may see me making my appearance out there.
Now, are
Very
we
excited.
just strictly going to be sticking to grappling, or maybe crossing over into some MMA once in a while, or what's the plan?
I've thought about MMA. It crosses my mind very frequently. I don't like getting punched in the face. I think it'll take some time for me to.
Head movement.
Yeah. I'm stiff. I was a power lifter. My neck doesn't move well.
Or I
If I
move
do
like
cross
shit.
into
Don't worry
that,
about it.
if I do cross into that sport, that division, I will definitely need a lot of work, especially on the feet. Punching is not my forte. Kicking I can do. I did competitive cheer for 2 years, so I can get that leg up high. But um, we'll see what the future holds. I kind of want to mess around with combat jujitsu a little bit.
Okay.
I,
Slap some people
yeah,
around.
slaps. I know they can get pretty brutal and they can hit just as hard as punches, but we'll see if I can use that as a stepping stone. Who knows?
You never know what the future may hold.
Right.
What do you do on your spare time,
What's
if
very
you have any?
Yeah. So I am a student. I also work part time, and then I like to say I basically do jujitsu full time. So the little free time that I have, I would say when I'm not cutting weight, I love to drink wine. I'm a big wine drinker. I also love hiking. Hanging out with my dogs. That's number one. We're
Right from
hitting a
the
pretty
10th
pure
Planet
bloodline
trees.
right
Yep.
now.
It's pretty pure if you say it.
Yeah. So
So mine is actually pretty pure as well. I am under Professor Rick Lucero, who got his from Hickson Gracie, and Joe Morera, who obviously Hickson got his from Helio.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I love jiu-jitsu, man. I just started maybe like 2 years ago, but I've had my son in it for like 3 years. And Professor, like, because I was there every day, mostly if I wasn't working, I'd be there watching my son. So every day he'd be like, "Hey, are you gonna get on the mats ever?"
he talked you into it?
Yeah. So I
Oh,
was like, because he knew like I did interviews and stuff like that, and I talked to plenty of people within combat sports, and he was like, "So when are you just gonna do it?"
I love that. So
Yeah.
now the kids coach in me has to ask, are you one of those parents that's looking away every 5 seconds, or are you one of those parents that's like, come on, take him down, push harder, get the arm bar?
No, both. Well, I don't. I definitely never look away. I'm always like, dude, what are you doing? If I'm ever looking away, I'm like, oh my god, that's not my kid. No, but he cracks me up. He's definitely in it just to have fun. He's not a competitive kid. He just likes to enjoy himself, and it keeps him active. So that helps.
Keeps him happy, keeps him healthy, keeps him out of trouble. That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
I grew up a horse girl. That's what that did for me. Kept me healthy, kept me happy. Out of my parents' hair and out of trouble.
What's the game plan for Saturday?
I mean, like I said earlier, I like to play off what they give me. I typically don't actively look for one specific thing. If I find it, awesome. If I can fit my game in there, even better. My leg locks are pretty well developed, especially over these past weeks, because I was supposed to go against a girl in the Emerald City invite from 50-50, Ryan
Mhm.
Hall School. So I was ready to play legs, man. That's been my
You were all about it.
yeah, I was like, awesome. Somebody's going to give me a test on this. I really have been wanting to push that game, especially because a lot of tournaments at Blue Belt, you don't get to see that. You don't get to
Yeah,
pursue
for
them
sure.
as much. I mean, it was just something I was stoked about, and I didn't get that opportunity. So maybe it'll come up this time. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you'll see some crazy stuff. Maybe you'll see me pull out a twister if it comes down to it. That's one of my favorite submissions.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Before I let you go, though, I want to give you an opportunity to give you a shout out to sponsors, teammates, loved ones, anyone that's really helped you along your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to thank my coach. He's always been there for me, answering my dumb questions from day one. As far as sponsors goes, Trials and Tribulations, got to give them some love. I'm always repping their gear when I'm not at jiu-jitsu. They take good care of me. Mike DeMicus, I know I mentioned him earlier. He's one of my teammates, but he's also the guy that helps me out with my weight cuts. So dropping 15 pounds, especially in the short time frames I like to end up doing it in, is not easy, but man, he definitely helps me, keeps me on track, and keeps me focused. He always tells me exactly what I need to hear. It's I always tell him, I can't wait to rehydrate. Baby steps. If you
Right.
hydrate too fast, you're going to screw yourself. I'm like, I needed to hear it. I'm not
It
happy
helps
about
to
it.
have that little person on your shoulder at all times.
Oh, absolutely. So he's both the angel and the devil. Right after I refuel, he's the one that's sending me pictures of ice cream, stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, as far as sponsors and stuff goes, that's it. Those guys
We
are
got
awesome.
to get you some more sponsors in.
Yeah, if anybody's looking, I'm open. Send me a
There
message.
we
I need
go.
some.
Where can the fans find you on social media?
You can find me at Instagram specifically. That's the number one thing I have. Katie, Katie _ Bochenek, Bochenek. Means bread in Polish.
There you
Um,
guys have it.
yeah.
If you cannot make it to Tomball, Texas, May 1st to watch Katie in her super fight, you can order the pay-per-view. It's $4.99 on combatsportscoverage.com. That is combatsportscoverage.com. But if you happen to make it over to Tomball, watch this amazing super fight. Katie, thank you for having the time to sit here and speak to us today. I know we kind of fluctuated our schedule a little bit, but we made it work, and I'm glad we were able to. Thank you again for taking time out of your day, and I can't wait to watch your fight.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I know it was last minute, but we made it happen. That's what matters.
No, for sure. And enjoy your moment, because you're never going to have the first one ever again.
Very true. Very true. I got to savor it.
No, for sure. You have a good one.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.